and it's called the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. And the patriarch that we'll be looking at today is Issachar. It says the Testament of Issachar, the fifth son of Jacob and Leah. Alright. Now, when we look at Jacob and Leah and Issachar, we're going to look at something called mandrakes. Now, when we look at these mandrakes was given. Now, Jacob had two wives, Leah and Rachel. Leah was very productive in her bearing of children for Jacob. Leah was Jacob's first wife. Jacob went to work for his mother's brother to receive a wife. In the process of working, he was tricked and worked 7 years for Rachel, but was given Leah and worked another 7 years so that he could obtain the woman that he loved, Rachel. Now, however, when he married these women, Leah was the one to bear children. So we're going to look here at now it says, this is the introduction, the decision between Rachel and Leah. The copy of the words of Issachar. For he called his sons and said to them, hearken, my children, to Issachar your father. Give ears to the words of him who is beloved of the Lord. I was born fifth son of Jacob, by the way, the hire of mandrakes. For Reuben my brother brought in mandrakes from the field, and Rachel met him and took them. And Reuben wept, and at his voice Leah my mother came forth. Now these mandrakes were sweet-smelling apples, which were produced in the land of Haran, below a ravine of water. And Rachel said, I will not give them to thee, but they shall be to me instead of children, for the Lord hath despised me, and I have not borne children to Jacob. So understand what I was saying earlier about Jacob and Leah. For the Lord hath despised me, I have not borne children to Jacob. Now therefore 2 apples. And Leah said to Rachel, let it suffice thee that thou hast taken my husband, wilt thou take also, will you also take these also? And Rachel said unto her, thou shalt have Jacob this night for mandrakes. So understand, Leah and Rachel. Leah has children by Jacob. Rachel is the beloved one of Jacob that Jacob wanted to marry. Rachel exchanged for hire, allowing for Leah to sleep with Jacob for the night in exchange for mandrakes. So this is what we've seen here. Prostitution is going on right here. So instead of sleeping and doing her duty of marriage to her husband Jacob, she rather had the mandrakes and allow for Leah to have Jacob for the night. So she says, thou shalt have Jacob this night for the mandrakes of thy son. And Leah said to her, Jacob is mine, for I am the wife of his youth. But Rachel said, boast not, and vaunt not thyself, for he responded to me before thee. And for my sake he served our father 14 years. So this is the story behind Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. And had not crafted. And hath not craft increase on the earth, and the wickedness of men prospered, thou wouldest not know see the face of Jacob. For thou art not his wife, but in craft were taken to him in my stead. Do you understand how Jacob was tricked into marrying Leah? After working 7 years, he had to take the elder sister instead of receiving Rachel, the woman who he really wanted. For thou art not his wife, but of craft. That's what she was referring to. And my father deceived me and removed me on that night, and did suffer Jacob to see me. For had I been there, had not happened to him. Nevertheless, for the mandrakes, I am hiring Jacob thee for one night. So because of these mandrakes, he allowed for Jacob to beat up Leah's shit for one night. And Jacob knew Leah that night. And she conceived and bare. And on the count of the hire, I was called Issachar. So this is Issachar explaining how he got his name. So basically, Issachar is saying how he got his name because his brother Reuben went to go get some fruit and gave it to his father's beloved wife, Rachel, his second wife. His mother was able to have a night with his father for him to get born. So this is why he is called on the account I was hired. Then appeared Jacob an angel of the Lord, saying, 2 children shall Rachel bear, inasmuch she hath refused company with her husband, and had chosen constancy, and had not Leah, my mother, paid the 2 apples for the sake of his company, she would have borne 8 sons. For this reason she bare 6. Rachel bare the 2. On account of the mandrakes, the Lord visited her. So the Lord visited Rachel on account of the mandrakes, which is very interesting. And the 2 that she bare would be Judah and Benjamin. For he sought the sake of the children of Judah, she wished company with Jacob, and not for lust of pleasure. For on the morrow also again gave up Jacob because of the mandrakes. Therefore the Lord hearkened to Rachel, for she desired them, and she ate them not, but offered them to the house of the Lord, presenting them to the priest of the Most High, who was at that time. So Rachel, not only did she deny her time with Jacob for the mandrakes, but she did this for our love of the Most High, to offer these to the Most High. So this is why she was blessed with bringing forth Judah and Benjamin. So it goes here to talk about the exhortation of the sons of Issachar, which we read here from the 12 patriarchs. So when therefore I grew up, my children, I walked in righteousness of heart, and I became a husbandman for my father and my brethren. Now, a husbandman is someone who takes care of the earth, agriculture. And I brought in fruits, from the field according to their season. So look at husbandry, agriculture, and Issachar, the development, husbandry, the wife, the covenant. So when you look at a covenant and the earth, Mother Earth, and our agreement as being the intercessor to protect us, the guardians of the earth, is to be a husbandman for the earth, right? So we look at agriculture and our culture. It says, brought in fields. And my father blessed me, for he saw that I walked in rectitude before him, and I was not a busybody in my doings, nor envious and malicious against my neighbor. I never slandered anyone, nor did I censure the life of any man. Walking, I did not singleness of eyes. Therefore, when I was 35 years old, I took myself a wife, for my labor wore my strength, away my strength. And I never thought upon pleasure with women, but only to my toil. Sleep overcame me, and my father always rejoiced in my gratitude, because I offered, though the priests of the Lord, all first fruits. When you look at the first fruits, the day of Pentecost, and the husbandry and the giving of offerings from the earth, the husbandry, the connection. So when we look at Issachar in the Testament, Issachar, and how Issachar came about from the mandrakes, from the fruit, from Leah wanting to offer mandrakes to the Lord, was what allowed for Leah to give birth to Issachar, as we see the name Issachar, and how Issachar got his name. And we look in the 12 patriarchs. So let's go here to what shall take place to Issachar in the last days. So it says, iniquity in the last days. Know ye, therefore, my children, in the last times your sons will forsake singleness, and cleave to insatiable desire, and leave guiltlessness, and will draw near to malice, and forsaking the commandments of the Lord, they will cleave to Baal, idolatry, is what that's saying there. And leaving husbandry, leaving taking care of the earth, agricultural, pharmakia, witchcraft. When you look at witchcraft, agriculture, sorcery, these things deal with medicine, deal with the cultivation of the earth, taking care of the earth. So when you look at the cultivators and the cult knowledge and husbandry, and they're taking care of the earth, this deals with agriculture, which deals with medicine, which is derives the word pharmakia, farming, pharmacy. You see the connection linguistically. So it says, and they will cleave into Baal, leaving husbandry. They will follow after their wicked devices, innovations, technology, and they shall be dispersed among the Gentiles and shall serve their enemies. And do ye therefore give these commands to your children, that if they sin, they may therefore more quickly return to the Lord, for he is merciful and will deliver them, even to bring them back into their land. So we're looking here, 12 patriarchs and Issachar. So that's just one patriarch. You know what I'm saying? This is doing some brief reviews here, just some joints. You know what I'm saying? When we look at husbandry, agriculture, pharmakia, these things revolve around the cultivation of the earth. And when we look at the cultivation of the earth, that is always looked at as the divine mother earth, the divine. When we look at everything that's material, mater. So you understand the phonetics. Phonetics is very key to the formation of any material matter that exists. For all matter that exists must be defined and contained into a phonetics of sound that identifies that from any other object or any form of entity that exists. So phonetics and the need to define things using sound, this symmetry, this harmonics of sound, matter, time, space, and this continuum, and the 13 tribes or the 12 tribes, all of these things evolve around medicine, pharmakia, farming, agricultural. You look at occult knowledge, cult is in there. And when you look at culture, cultivating, these things require on sun, access to sun, and knowledge of the cosmos, the heavenly realm, the earthly realm, within and without. Producing fruits. So we will look at Issachar, and we look at this connection of Jacob and the fifth son of Jacob, Issachar, and how the mandrakes played a role in the exchange between Rachel and Leah to allow Leah, but all along Rachel was righteously giving offerings of the mandrakes to the Most High. And that's how her womb, when you look at the womb, the matrix, in Hebrew, the womb and the matrix, ironically, mean the same thing. That's some crazy shit when you really think about it, right? Matrix, measure, metrics, matrix, measure, mathematics, right? Sacred geometry, shapes, formation of things is really just the capturing of sound. And sound is really light. And sound, light, water, all of these things have a synonym effect. Meaning these things can be correlated to be the same thing, being separate, different things in concrete reality. Abstractly, in phonetics, they can have a continuity to perform the same actions. So when we look at water, light, and photography, the capturing of phi, when you look at phi and this mathematical significance of the spiritual, spiral, the dragon, all of these things have their connotations and meaning in different cultures. But when you look at these things in concrete and mathematics and geometrics and how their formation of whether it's the coiling of a snake or a dragon or anything, it all representations the motion and the process of energy being created or destroyed or passed from one entity to another.